everybody, welcome back to the channel where it is time for my Matchweek 25, yes 25 predictions for the 2019-2020 Premier League season. Now obviously Liverpool are at West Ham this evening, so obviously Matchweek 24 will conclude after that fixture. So let's have a quick look how I'm actually doing in that game week. So it's been quite a mixed week, it has to be said. So Aston Villa Watford, I went for a 2-1 win to Watford, that finished 2-1 to Villa. Bournemouth Brighton, I went for a 2-1 win to Bournemouth, that finished 3-1. Crystal Palace Southampton, I went for a 2-1 win to Crystal Palace, that finished 2-0 to Southampton. Everton Newcastle, I went for a 1-0 win to Everton, that finished 2-2. Sheffield United Man City, I went for a 2-1 win to Man City, finished 1-0. Chelsea Arsenal, went for a 2-0 win to Chelsea, that finished 2-2. Leicester City West Ham, went for a 2-1 win to Leicester City, that finished 4-1 to Leicester City. Tottenham Norwich City, I went for a 3-0 win to Tottenham, that finished 2-1. Manchester United Burnley, I went for a 1-1 draw, finished 2-0 to Burnley. So that's a big win for Burnley. And Wolves Liverpool, went for a 2-0 win to Liverpool, and I went for a finished 2-1. And obviously West Ham Liverpool is being played this evening. I'm going for a 2-0 win to Liverpool in that game as well. So Liverpool could be 19 clear by the end of this evening. So with that being in mind, let's get to Matchweek 25. And there's some big games. We've also got third against fourth and Leicester City against Chelsea. We've also got Tottenham against Manchester City to round off on Sunday. So the first game in the Matchweek 25 is as follows. It is Leicester City against Chelsea, and the last five between the sides have resulted in 1 win to Leicester, 1 win to Chelsea, and 3 draws in there for good measure. The last result was a 0-0 draw in the very last day of last season, but obviously there was a game previously at Stamford Bridge that was 1-1, so very good indeed. Leicester City, obviously they exited the Carabao Cup last night to Aston Villa. Has to be said, wasn't the greatest of games by all means, but Leicester City will obviously look to that handball's decision that wasn't given, and yeah, you know that was obviously a penalty to Villa, but credit to Aston Villa that they played very well. And Leicester City, obviously the last time they were in the Premier League they won 4-1 against West Ham. Jamie Vardy, he came off injured in that game. He was on the bench last night, so that would probably mean he'll be back for the game against Chelsea at the weekend, which will be big news for Leicester City fans for sure. Leicester City's form has been a little bit up and down recently, so they'll be wanting to definitely get a win here. Big game this one. Lunchtime kickoff. Should be a good game this one. Chelsea, obviously they're coming off the back of a 2-2 draw with Arsenal in the last game, and has to be said, I think it was a very good game of football, very good open game of football, but obviously Chelsea, going ahead twice and then being pegged back, that will disappoint Frank Lampard, I think, and it'll be interesting to see if Chelsea actually make any signings towards the end of the transfer window. At this moment in time, it's looking very unlikely at this moment in time, but you will probably see maybe one go in and maybe one go out for Chelsea. So it'll be interesting to see that one. So this game, however, I just think with Leicester City being at home, I think Leicester City will win this one. I think they'll consolidate third place and move a wee bit further ahead of Chelsea. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Leicester City. I think Leicester City will beat Chelsea in this game. Go for a 2-1 win to Leicester City. Bournemouth Aston Villa. Now, there's only been 3 meetings between the sides, and it's 2 wins to Bournemouth and 1 win to Villa. And in fact, the last Villa win was a 1-0 win at the Vitality, but obviously Bournemouth won the previous fixture 2-1. So yeah, Bournemouth 3-1 winners over Brighton, and looking very good again. And obviously they did exit the FA Cup to Arsenal, but now they can focus on the Premier League. I think that's one thing they would want to do, definitely. They were definitely wanted to focus on the Premier League, and I think they've managed to do that. So obviously going out of the FA Cup to Arsenal, no disgrace there. 1-3-1 in the derby against Brighton. And again, they were looking back to their best. Callum Wilson, Harry Wilson. You know, they were playing very, very well in that game. And this is a big, big game because obviously Bournemouth are, you know, languishing in the relegation zone at this moment in time. And Aston Villa are currently just above them. So it'd be interesting to see this game. I actually think we're looking at this game, it is good. It's a very, very tricky game to predict because if you look at the table, so obviously this is 18th versus 16th. It's a big, big game, big game. Considering that obviously West Ham are at this moment in time just above Bournemouth, but obviously if West Ham get a very, very heavy defeat in their next game, you know, Bournemouth could actually overtake them, and this is a worrying period for West Ham as well. So Bournemouth, Aston Villa, you know, obviously Aston Villa, they're coming off the back of winning in the Carabao Cup against Leicester City. Obviously they're going to the final. Very, very well deserved. Very, very great performance last night for Villa, and it'll be interesting to see how well they do as well, looking ahead to this game. Obviously they beat Watford in the last game of the Premier League, and that was a very, very big win. A very, very big win. A very late win as well. But it shows what having a very good goalkeeper in the net. Pepe Reina was absolutely outstanding against Watford, and he'll probably have to be on his toes for this one. So for this game, I can't really separate them. I think it'll be a very, very close game, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Bournemouth and Aston Villa. I think it'll be a very, very close game, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Bournemouth and Aston Villa. Crystal Palace against Sheffield United, and again, there's only been 3 meetings in the Premier League era. And the last 3 meetings, there has been 2 wins to Palace and 1 win to Sheffield United. And the last one was a 2-0 win to Crystal Palace, but this came way, way back on the 5th of December 1992. So it's been a long time coming since these two last met at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace, they're coming off the back of a 2-0 defeat to Southampton. Lowest scores in the Premier League now. This is a bit of a worry. They're definitely needing bodies in. They definitely need to get somebody in that can score the goals to obviously get them back up the table. You know, it's one thing to obviously lose against Southampton, but it was the manner of the performance. And you know, so Wilfred Zaha was involved in an altercation with James Ward-Prowse going off the pitch. Nothing's been said about that, so I've been interested to see if he gets in any trouble. But yeah, it was a poor performance for Crystal Palace. It was a really poor performance, and you know they're coming up against the away day specialists in Sheffield United, and obviously they lost 1-0 to Man City. But again, Dean Henderson was absolutely outstanding again. How many times am I going to say this? Dean Henderson has been outstanding. Honestly, for me, he's the goalkeeper of the season so far. Yes, you could say, you know, Alisson's done very, very well since he came back in. Ederson, he's done okay when he's come in as well. But for me, Henderson has been absolutely fantastic. And it'd be interesting to see if Sheffield United were able to keep him a game for next season. But I have to say, they've been absolutely superb, Sheffield United. And they go away to Crystal Palace. And actually, I'm going to go for an away win here. I think Sheffield United will continue their recent good form. I know they lost to Man City, but you know, to only lose 1-0 to Man City was very, very good. And I think, going into that game, I think they will go away to Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace are really, really patchy form at the moment. Yes, obviously they got a 2-2 draw with Man City, but they are very patchy, and at the moment I think Sheffield United will win this one. Going to go for a 1-0 win to Sheffield United. But I'll tell you something, it'll be a very, very close game, but I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Sheffield United in the game. Liverpool, Southampton. Now obviously Liverpool were playing this evening against West Ham, like I've said. So Liverpool, Southampton, the last 5 fixtures, Liverpool have won all 5 fixtures in the last 5. The last result was a 3-0 win to Liverpool, but obviously the fixture previously was a 2-1 win to Liverpool at St Mary's. Liverpool obviously a 2-2 draw with Shrewsbury, which wasn't very, very good. But in the league, 2-1 win at Wolves, and didn't play very, very well, but still got the result. That's the thing about Liverpool. They are playing like champions right now, and the way they are playing very, very well. It's going to be an interesting game, this one, because Southampton are doing excellently. They're in the top half of the table, and rightly so. They've been absolutely outstanding since the 9-0 defeat to Leicester City. You know, everyone doubted them. Everyone doubted Southampton, and to be honest, they've been brilliant. They've been really, really good. So it's a big test for Liverpool. Very, very big test, because obviously Southampton, they're coming off the back of a 2-0 win over Crystal Palace. 2 outstanding goals, though. Obviously, Redmond's goal was absolutely outstanding as well. You know, they are playing some very, very good football. Armstrong as well. You know, he's starting to score goals as well. It's going really, really well for Southampton. But they are coming up against a side who is unbeaten at home since April 2017. I think Liverpool will go into this one. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet, though. I could see Southampton maybe getting a goal. Probably Danny Ings as well. Danny Ings would absolutely fire at the moment in time. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to the league leaders in this one. I just got a feeling that Liverpool will win this one. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Liverpool. But it'll be an interesting game for sure. So, it'll be interesting to see. But hopefully Liverpool can win that one. So Liverpool 3, Southampton 1. Newcastle United against Norwich City, and the last 5 between the sides resulted in 2 wins to Newcastle, 2 wins to Norwich, and 1 draw. The last result was a 6-2 victory for Newcastle United in the Premier League at St James's Park. But obviously Norwich City won the previous fixture 3-1 in a game where Timu Pukki got a hat-trick. So Newcastle United, they're coming off the back of 0-0 against Oxford, but 2-2 against Everton. How? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Everton completely capitulated in front of our own eyes. It was absolutely unbelievable the way that they managed to let Newcastle back into it. And you know, they've got a goal scorer and a defender now. Florent Lejeune got both goals. It was absolutely fantastic, and you know, Newcastle thoroughly deserved a draw in that game. But you know, it's interesting. It's interesting that obviously Newcastle United, they are trying to bring in bodies. Be interested to see who they can bring in. I think Norwich City, obviously they're coming off the back of a 2-1 defeat against Spurs, but they did win the FA Cup. They won at Burnley, so you know, Norwich City, they'll be going for confidence. But very, very hard one to call this one. I think obviously Norwich City languishing at the bottom of the league at the moment. They're just wanting to get wins under their belt, but they're going away to Newcastle. I can't really see anything other than Newcastle win. I think it'll be a narrow one. Going to go for a 1-0 win to Newcastle United. I think it'll be a very, very narrow game. Narrow win for the Toon Army in this one. 2 of Marco Silva's former sides now coming up against each other. Watford against Everton. The last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 wins to Watford, 2 wins to Everton, and 1 draw. And the last result was a 1-0 win to Watford. Watford, they are coming off the back of a 2-1 defeat to Aston Villa. Yeah, it was a very interesting game, because obviously, you know, Troy Deeney scored against Villa. He loves scoring against Villa, so that's one thing you can say about that. But yeah, they lost it at the last minute, and obviously they went out to Tranmere, but they made so many changes. So this is the thing. I think both of these sides will be fresh, because obviously they've not had FA Cup action. But yeah, obviously Watford, they had some good form under Nigel Pearson. They really, really did. It's just going to be interesting to see how well they do to get back to that. Everton, obviously everyone's saying that how their capitulation against Newcastle United happened was absolutely unbelievable. Yes, obviously they conceded late on, but you know, they were 2-0 up. How they lost the 2-goal lead was very, very baffling. And it's set a trend. It really, really has, and it's going to be interesting to see how well they do in this game. For me, I'm going to just say Everton will win this one, but it could be Watford as well. Don't be surprised if it is Watford as well. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Everton here. I think. So, the next game is West Ham against Brighton. And funnily enough, West Ham have never beaten Brighton in the Premier League era. So it is 3 wins to Brighton and 2 draws. And the last result was a 2-2 draw between West Ham and Brighton. West Ham are in absolute awful form. 4-1 defeats to Leicester City, and then losing to 1-2 West Brom by a 0 at the London Stadium. It's just not happening for West Ham at this moment in time. And they're looking above over their shoulders now. They've got some really hard games coming up, because obviously they go to Manchester City before... they go Man City next, and it's a really hard run of fixtures for them. Worrying times for West Ham for sure. It's going to be very, very interesting, because Brighton, obviously they're coming off the back of a derby defeat to Bournemouth, but to be honest, Brighton have a really good record against West Ham, and I think that's going to continue. I really do. I just think that Brighton will be determined to win this one. I'm going to go for West Ham to probably be in the relegation zone by the weekend. West Ham 1, Brighton 2. It'll be interesting to see, but I just got a feeling that Brighton will beat West Ham, and West Ham could well be in the relegation zone by the time, by the weekend. Very worrying times if you're a West Ham fan, for sure. Manchester United against Wolves now. This is a Saturday night game. And the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 wins to United, 2 draws, and 1 win to Wolves. The last result was a 1-1 draw between Manchester United and Wolves. Manchester United obviously coming off the back of a 6-0 win over Tranmere. But in the Premier League, 2-0 defeat to Burnley. Burnley's first win at Old Trafford for 58 years. It was incredible. Incredible how poor Manchester United were in that game. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes, that deal does look like it is going to happen. It looks like he is on his way to Manchester for a medical. But obviously, the thing that has overshadowed that is that Ed Woodward's house last night was targeted by Manchester United. I'm not going to call them fans, I'm going to call them thugs. Scumbags. Honestly, it was awful. Absolutely awful. The videos that were being posted, obviously surfacing online, it's absolutely ridiculous. He has a young family. It is just ridiculous. How the... you know what? I really hope these people are prosecuted. Yes, there's a way of protesting, but don't bring violence, don't bring flares into it, or don't bring fireworks into it. Honestly, absolutely ridiculous from that. And it's going to be interesting to see how this affects Manchester United on the pitch, because Wolves, they're coming off the back of a 2-1 defeat to Liverpool, and how they didn't get anything in that game. On another day, they would have got something from that game. But Manchester United have not beaten Wolves in the Premier League since they were promoted. But obviously, they did beat them in the FA Cup. So I just can't separate these two. I think obviously Man United are in 5th, Wolves are in 7th. I think 7th. I can't separate them. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Manchester United and Wolves in the game. And now we come on to Super Sunday. We have Burnley against Arsenal, and the last 5 fixtures between Burnley and Arsenal have won all 5 games. The last result was a 3-1 win to Arsenal. Burnley, they are coming off the back of a 2-0 win over Manchester United, and first win over Man United in 58 years was fantastic. But then to go out in the FA Cup to Norwich City, yes, changed team and all, but that was disappointing, I think. But they can focus on the Premier League now, and I think that's good. But they are coming up against one of their bogey sides, Arsenal. They just cannot seem to beat Arsenal, and be interesting to see, because Arsenal are coming off the back of obviously a 2-1 win over Bournemouth. Very, very good performance from them. 2-2 against Chelsea. you know, Arsenal. There's definitely signs now that Arteta is definitely improving Arsenal, but they just need to get wins under their belts, and then they'll be climbing up the table for sure. But for this game, I can't really see anything other than Arsenal win. I think Aubameyang will be back, if memory serves me correctly. So I think Aubameyang will be back, and I think he'll fire Arsenal to win this one. Martinelli's been absolutely outstanding for Arsenal as well since he's come in. So I'm going to go for Burnley 0, Arsenal 2 in this game. I just think Burnley don't like playing Arsenal, and Arsenal like playing Burnley. So there we go. Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. And excuse me. And the final game to take place on Sunday is Tottenham against Manchester City. Big game, this one. The last 5 fixtures between the sides have resulted in 4 wins to City, 1 draw, and the last result was a 1-0 win to City. But so this is the first fixture between the sides at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, because obviously the last fixture was at Wembley Stadium. So, Tottenham, Man City, and obviously Tottenham beat Man City in the Champions League last season as well at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham, where do you start with Tottenham? 2-1 against Norwich City. Very good win. Very good win. Obviously, Hugo Lloris is back, so obviously he's number 1 goalkeeper, so obviously he'll be back as well. Then they go to Southampton, 1-1 draw with them, so obviously a replay. It's interesting. Tottenham's form has been very patchy, to say the least. And it's going to be very interesting, this game, because obviously Man City, they're coming off the back of obviously a 4-0 win over Fulham, then a 1-0 win over Sheffield United in the Premier League. Very good win for them. And obviously Laporte is now back. So the only player that they're really missing now is Sane. And it'll be interesting to see when he returns for this one. It's Mourinho against Pep. Be an interesting game. But I think Man City will win this one, knowing that they could be 22 points behind Liverpool by the time they play Spurs. So it'll be interesting to see that one. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Manchester City. So that is it. That is my Matchweek 25 predictions for the 2019-2020 Premier League season. I'll go through my predictions very quickly as well. Leicester City 2, Chelsea 1. Bournemouth 1, Aston Villa 1. Crystal Palace 0, Sheffield United 1. Liverpool 3, Southampton 1. Newcastle United 1, Norwich City 0. Watford 0, Everton 1. West Ham 1, Brighton 2. Manchester United 1, Wolves 1. Burnley 0, Arsenal 2, and Tottenham 1, Manchester City 2. So that is it. That is my Matchweek 25 predictions done and dusted. If you don't like my content, then please hit the subscribe button. It'd be absolutely fantastic as well. Smash a like on this video, leave a comment, leave your predictions as well, and we shall see what happens for the games at the weekend. So big games. Obviously, we've got the winter break coming as well. So obviously there'll be some teams playing next weekend, and then there'll be some teams playing the following weekend. So it'll be very interesting to see that as well. But thank you very much for watching this video, and yeah, please hit that subscribe button. That'd be absolutely fantastic as well. So I will see you all very soon, and look forward to the football at the weekend. Some big games: Tottenham Man City on Sunday, Leicester Chelsea on Saturday lunchtime. So some very big games coming up, and we'll see what happens. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back very soon with some more videos. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.